Since 1961, Quartz Plumbing has offered friendly, reliable service to residences all over Bergen County, New Jersey. We are a fourth-generation family-owned business, unmatched in customer satisfaction and professionalism while working in your home. We are the hydronic heating and water filtration specialists, with a workmanship guarantee to put you at ease so you can rest comfortably. We offer financing for those big projects that catch you off guard, and we have a network of excellent contractors in all fields for any project you wish to tackle. Call our responsive office team, and we'll dispatch a handsome and educated technician to lay the smackdown on all your plumbing issues. You can also find us at quartzplumbing.com, search us on Google, or follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.
Like, subscribe, and share, please.
All right, folks, welcome to Plum Bums Podcast, the blue-collar tradesman show where we talk about running a small business and being an entrepreneur in these crazy times in 2023. Episode 14.
Yeah, we're moving on up. Now we got 2 guests in one show.
Yeah. Now that we're sharing the I hope it doesn't collapse because everything here is fake. Literally, everything here is fake. There's nothing exactly.
China.
Just you gotta pretty much hold like a wall squat the whole time. No, so we are on episode 14, and we have with us Rob and Scott Wickersheim, who Quartz Plumbing has worked with very closely
Been in
for
competition
many
with.
years.
Competition. Come
Yeah.
on.
I mean, a little bit.
Sister companies.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, you guys worked down in Hackensack and that whole area. We really try to stay away from it. Mostly because you said something to me one time. You go, "What's your truck doing around the corner from my shop?"
Okay. We stay out of our
territorial.
Area. Come on now. Yep.
No, that. So you guys, my grandfather and your father, you said he was like the only one that he got along with back in the day. He's like, watch out for this guy. He's a good guy. Absolutely. And then ever since then, when you guys got into the business and Paul got into the business, it kind of just morphed from there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys have been in business. Wickersheim has been in business since 1926
Correct.
by your father, Gus. Grandfather, Gus?
Yeah, Gus. Yep.
Gus Wickersheim. And it moved on down the line, and always in Hackensack.
Correct.
I mean, that's a long time. We're going on 100 years.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah. We don't look that old, do we?
I mean, I can edit my answer out if you want. Listen, I have a beard for the same reason you do, to cover everything underneath it.
Exactly. The baby face.
So grandfather started it, father took over. I mean, it's inevitable that the boys get into it. But I know for me, I ran away from it for like 20 years. And when I did it with my father as a kid, I was like, I'm never doing this.
Oh,
but
I don't
here
blame
I
you
am.
for that either. Yeah.
But how'd you guys? What made you decide? Did you try anything else?
Well, we both had jobs.
Stay closer to the mic.
We both had like other jobs and things like that, But right off the bat, the second you started bothering mom on school days off, you got dragged out to work. Take him, get him out of here.
Here's a bucket of fittings. Go clean the fittings.
Or you held the flashlight, and then you got just move the flashlight over to there.
And most of those jobs were through high school.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
I mean, but now look at it. Like, no one's getting into plumbing. No one's getting into the trades. And now, like, everyone kind of looks down on the blue collar guy generally.
I don't know if I agree with you recently.
Turning.
Not recently. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like back then, like, he's a plumber.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
But now, there's no plumbers coming up.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm seeing more recently. Like
That's
in
good.
the last couple of years, going through the trade schools and things like that, I'm seeing them come out. I'm seeing a better quality of kid coming out of the trade school.
That's a relief.
Yeah.
Because if that wasn't happening, we'd be screwed in a couple of years.
If you look at it, it was a lot of it where, you're going to come out owing, the equivalent of what a mortgage payment.
Yeah.
So you come in, you do your trade school stuff. They don't teach you they teach you a lot, but they don't teach you enough of the day-to-day stuff that you really need to know.
Of course.
But they get you a good start. And if you get somebody that's got a head on their shoulders, they actually could come in and go far.
Yeah, I know.
And not have the note that they come with when they get out of school. You know, you gotta,
Yeah.
you're behind the 8 ball. You come
Just
out of college if you
Praying
jump
you
back
got
into
that one good high school teacher that recommends a kid that isn't good at school, and say,
Which is rare today.
and recommend the trades, which is rare.
I mean, what shop is going down?
They don't have it in
Bush-
school anymore. They
No.
don't have shop. They don't have home ec. Like I learned how to sew.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. And I did too, and I like the fact that I did all that
Yeah.
too. You know, they should really have all that.
Yeah.
You can fix your own plumbing clothes.
Funny,
Whenever-
my kids came out of high school and had never signed a rental agreement, had no idea
No,
how to fill
none of that.
anything. My son didn't even know how to sign his name cursive.
But he
because
does
they
know.
don't-
Same. They
Yeah.
took away cursive my year of school. They took away cursive that year, and my grandmother, who went to Catholic school, freaked out that I didn't know cursive.
They do come out knowing that mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, though.
Oh,
You know,
I would have to take your word for that.
I mean that's the one thing I remember. And then mold day in
It's
chemistry.
not one of the dinner conversations we've ever had in my house.
You know, dude, what how the cell propels through the body. You guys don't talk about that at dinner.
No. Look, yeah, I get. How was your day? Oh, good.
Listen,
Leave it at that.
I got to be honest. A lot of the blame would fall on the education system. Not to take it completely away from the parents, but they've really not
kind of
criminalized,
pigeonholed
but
it.
yeah.
They
They
put
kind-
emphasis on going to college.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
you're not
Well,
going to make it if you don't go to school.
How do
That's
you
what they
guys
come-
feel about it? Like, what do you do? You guys both have kids, right?
Well, yes. And
you
I
guys
was
encourage your kids to get into trades or go to college?
Well, I have 2 daughters, but
Oh.
they were both well. You know, I welcome to come in and do what but they were very strong-minded in what they wanted to do. One was sports, and the other one was fashion. It didn't melt with plumbing.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, my personal story was I wanted to be an architect. I was very, you know, all through mechanical drawing, all through high school. I was college prep classes through everything. That's what I wanted to do. I got up into my senior year, and senior year, it's mechanical drawing 3, I think it is, where you're sitting back. I just couldn't sit at a desk that long.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, oh my God, this is killing me. I love the teacher. Hackensack High School, I was very happy with everything I was going through. Loved the teacher. Everything was good. My guidance counselor said, "Oh, you're not going to do this." It didn't offer any alternatives. I said, "I want to go work for my father's company. I want to do that." Instead of, and this was in the very, very beginning when I was looking for my classes for my senior year, I wish they said small business classes.
Yeah.
You know,
Did
and
they offer those?
They had them.
Oh,
There
I
was
didn't
there.
know.
There was. I know.
Wow.
I didn't find out about it till afterwards.
Wow.
And I got through, and I took everything right through, and I muscled through and got out. But you know, there's got to be small business classes, accounting for small businesses. They should really gear this stuff towards, you know, if it's going to help the kid that's going to want to open up a landscaping company.
Yeah.
It's gonna anybody that's gonna do anything that's not mainstream, right through the college, through the money,
Push
through the
buttons.
situation. Get something out there. Get your entrepreneurial, you know, juices
wet.
flowing.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I don't understand why they don't look outside the box.
You can do this.
Yeah.
Anyone
You know?
can do this.
Were you going to go into plumbing right away after school?
No, actually, I was going to Denver. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I had an apartment and a job,
Really?
plumbing job lined up out there just right out of high school. But I ran into my wife, who is now my wife, but I ran into her the second time of dating 3 weeks before my senior prom. Decided to stick around, see how it worked
Wow.
out. So that's why I'm here.
A life-changing decision over the
So
senior
your wife
prom.
kept you in Jersey, huh?
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, good
Not
for
the
her.
worst. Not the worst thing. No.
You know,
She's a keeper.
You get out of high school. I mean, I started at 10 years old. Like my father said, this Friday I need you to come into work because you're out of school. And I said, no, I don't want to do that.
Right.
And he said, okay, now you're going to come and help the family for free. If you had said yes, I'd have paid you. So you learn
That's
quick.
how-
Okay, I'm
That's
coming.
how he
And-
was.
I mean, listen, my grandfather was a ball buster, and if he got along with your dad, I'm sure your dad was a ball buster.
Absolutely.
It's the North Jersey, though. Like,
The
it's just
two of them
grown-
are ball busters.
Oh,
It's,
what
yes.
it's
you're talking
insane.
about.
Every time a Wickersheim truck passes, and I see one of them giving me the finger, passing by,
Are you?
bumping the truck.
No. What Rob will do is he will swerve. He'll be in his personal trucks. You don't even know
Yeah,
it's Wickersheim,
yeah.
and he will just come over into the lane if there's
Yep.
nobody else around. And can't
You're a little bit
recognize the
dazed
truck
off.
right away.
You're a little bit dozed off, and
Like,
you're
are
like,
you kidding? These drivers in North Jersey, and at the last second, I see it's you. I'm like, this guy.
Keep you on your toes. Yeah, if the bumpers line up, I'll even tap you at a red light.
That's what he did to me one time, and it's like a month after I'd gotten into an accident with the work truck, and I'm at a red light, and he bumps me from behind, and I put the car in park, and I'm like, and I look in the back mirror, and I see him.
I thought it was like some high school girl on
I
her
thought it
phone.
was some guy just. So you can't leave your windows down at the supply house if they come by.
I'll steal your keys.
Yeah, you get your radio turned up, your
Yeah, but
windshield wipers thrown on.
You need that. You need that camaraderie in the trades, though,
Yeah,
or you'll go insane.
Well, this guy put a pigeon in my work truck. And
A
I
live
came out.
pigeon?
Oh yeah, live pigeon. Yeah.
Where'd you get a live pigeon from?
It
Did you
was
just
in the
catch him?
garage. It just flew into the garage, and we were closing
serious?
up, and it was flying around. And I grabbed a burlap bag and I threw it over top of the pigeon. And of course, the guys are starting to roll in, and he had to go out on a call. So I knew this. I threw it inside the back doors, and the truck's all closed up, and we're all staring out the door of the office. Wait, watch. He got in the truck and was like so disappointing. Nothing happened.
Would you drive away and not realize
No, I
it was
opened
there?
up the door and there was a pigeon standing on the drill box, and I'm just like,
Just sitting.
come on. And I got it out. It just landed. I'm like, all right, get in the truck and leave. I'm like, I'm thinking about the job. I didn't know I was disappointing my audience.
Oh, I let live squirrels in the guys' trucks.
Oh my God.
You're transplanting a squirrel with a have a heart trap, and there's one of my guys. Just leave it in the truck because you're on the job.
I know. I couldn't work with my brother.
Yeah.
We've tried it. I mean, you guys have been doing it for how long?
Yeah, you know what? But we keep a nice line between the way we work. So
Okay.
it's like, it's office and
I
it's
gotcha.
service, and we've always tried to keep that. And when we're out, we have beers together, and everything's fine.
It's
You know
work
what I
is
mean?
work, and
Yeah.
we have the same goals. We're
Yeah.
looking to make.
We
money,
think things
period,
differently, and the guys all look at it and
Yeah.
know it, but it doesn't matter if that's what works. It doesn't.
Well, you
matter.
guys have different roles in your company. Right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like poppy seed.
Sesame for me. Still good. But you know what? You're funny. You brought up the squirrels. The best story that I've had, and I know you know this story, was
Here, you gotta get closer.
my grandfather.
There you go.
My grandfather was he was whatever anybody would think we are, and in whatever thinks my father was. My father was like the king.
The
above
apple
us.
went straight down,
Yes.
all the way down the line.
So the story that I've heard from Grandpa was he was at a bar that he would go to all the time, like after work, 3:30, 4 o'clock. It was a different era back in the
Joe's?
40s.
Yeah.
I think it was called Two Joes.
Was it?
I
Okay,
think it was
yeah.
called Two Joes. Yeah.
And he would hang out there. He'd do plumbing work there. They'd work back and forth for trade off their monies. And for some reason, something that the bar owed Grandpa, they weren't paying. So Grandpa went back in there a couple times. Gus was a big, stubborn old German guy, and he came in and he's like, where's my money? We're going to do this. You're going to pay me. And the owner yelled from behind the bar, says, Gus, I ain't paying you. Get out of here. So Grandpa trapped some squirrels.
Oh my God.
He opened up the door. You're not paying me? Okay. He opened up the have a heart trap, and 2 squirrels ran into the bar, and he closed the door. And the squirrels
held it.
Yes. And the
And
squirrels
nailed it?
apparently
And held
held
it.
it closed.
Oh, held it.
Yeah.
And apparently the squirrels were looking for some place to go. They were knocking bottles over. They were
Good.
chasing over. And he's
They
like,
went
"Yep,
as high as
that's
they
it."
could behind the bar and knocked
That is
everything off.
awesome.
Just that. He's like, all right, we're even now. That's okay.
That's perfect. That's the perfect way to do it.
Yep. It's like, I'm not going to hurt you. I'm not going to get mad. Or say, here we go. You owe me money. We'll make it even.
So you guys went through a period where you grew really quickly. And that was about what, 5, 6, maybe 7 years ago?
No.
Even
No,
8?
before that.
Yeah,
Really?
2012,
2000s,
2013. Yeah.
Well, where did you take it from where your your father
All right. So
gave it to you?
my grandfather died in 1976, and then it went to my father and my uncle.
Okay.
And then my uncle died in 1997, and I went to my father. And then Rob and I took it in, we were working during that time.
1997, we had 2 trucks,
Yeah.
a brand new Chevy van, and a 10-year-old used truck we bought that had a bad transmission. It had first and reverse. That was it. And I got that truck.
Well, you're not leaving Hackensack. I mean,
I could only,
Every
I could only
job
do
that
20
one when it
miles
was
an hour.
downhill.
We nicknamed it the moped.
Oh, my God, the moped.
And inside of 6 months, it was another new truck. And in 6 months, another new truck. And we went on like that. I think 2008 we peaked. I think that was 28 employees around the end of the 2000s after Dad had passed.
28.
Yeah.
I think that was where we topped out, and it was
Nightmare.
yeah.
All working out of that same house down there.
Huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
But Dad said, don't get more than 10 guys.
Yeah.
He
5
said,
trucks.
That's it. 5 trucks, 10
And
guys.
he was right. That was a
Yeah.
nightmare to manage. And we guys would hold the gun to our heads like, you don't give me a raise, I'm walking off the project that I'm running.
Yeah.
You know, now how do you jump
What do you
into
do?
it?
Yeah.
You know, they got
Well,
it.
there's,
So-
yeah.
So that's where it was out of control. I said I would never get that big again where I
Right.
couldn't jump in and at least finish projects. That
Right,
were
right,
open
right.
And myself, you know. Like,
And I think the reason that we're held by that is I think Rob and I like to try to be too much involved to where we don't want to be. And I think the bigger companies say the owners, not it's a bad way, it's a different formula. But I think the bigger
They're
guys, they
hands-off.
just, it's so, okay, you have to have this guy following this. I think him and I
We're
micromanage,
personally
we're a little
involved,
bit,
yeah.
we like to be really.
too much skin in the game, I
No,
guess I could say.
yeah.
You have a
at times
reputation,
Too much,
too.
yeah. It's
You
our
guys
name.
you guys have been a company for
Exactly.
almost 100 years, and
Exactly.
you have a name on. It's your
Yeah.
name,
And I think if it was some other name, that if it was ABC or something,
Yeah.
okay, all right, we'll hire managers and we'll
Yeah.
hire that.
Right.
But when I'm at a bagel
Slight
shop,
delay,
and-
labor shortage, you know.
yeah,
yeah,
I'm at a bagel shop and I have the guy behind me going, Wickersheim,
Yeah.
you were just at my mother's house. You know, it's like
You guys did a great job.
Yes, that's what and not, I don't know you.
yeah,
You know,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
want that.
yeah.
You know, and when I don't know him because it was a service call that came through and Rob's guys handle. And when I say Rob's guys, it's the division is kind of like I have the commercial end a little bit more, and he does the day-to-day residential
Right.
Heating,
service.
cooling
Yeah.
side.
So that's why that's the sides that we have to deal with. It turns into a joke with, you're on Rob's side today. Sorry,
The dark side.
with the guys. Because we got to play good cop, bad cop.
Well, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a bit of that.
Go in and talk to your brother. Talk to my brother.
I have no other cop. It's just me as the cop.
You can always blame Uncle Paul.
Yeah, what about Uncle
I have
Paul?
actually. I've used Uncle Paul as an excuse to motivate him to do things.
Scapegoat of all scapegoats.
I'm like,
Are we allowed to tell stories about Uncle Paul? on this thing?
absolutely.
Oh my
Are you
God.
kidding me?
Well, let's talk about how your friendship with Paul came to be, because Paul came in a lot later in the game than you guys, right?
96.
He looks great
95.
for 96.
He looks all right for 96.
No, well, Paul and I kind of. Did you know Paul first? I thought
I knew who he was. We said hello
Him
to each
and I
other, but
kinda-
you and I did business, or you and Paul did business
Yeah,
together
there was
first.
a one job that he needed. He needed more guys than he had, and he reached out to me and he's like, can you guys take care of this job for me? And we did it, and everything went well, and everything went from that point on. And then hanging out a couple here and there, and
you
then
guys
through
were
a
drinking
supply
buddies.
house, drinking buddies, skiing.
Snowmobiling.
Yes. Well, I don't want to talk about that.
Oh, I do. That was one of the funniest stories
What happened?
with when they went snowmobiling. We'll get into it in the second half. I'm gonna bring it up. I hate to let you know, but that was so funny.
That was
And
a great weekend. Oh my God.
It was a lot of fun.
there was a whole song to the weekend. I remember hearing.
And it really it started with an unbreakable bottle that we broke. That started the whole weekend off on the bad foot.
When I first
Oh,
started
my God.
working for Paul, I would go to the supply house. Well, you guys were still going to supply house quite a bit when it was Ramapo.
Yeah.
All right. But I remember when I would go there with him and he'd run into guys like you and other guys like he knows, and just the stories are hysterical.
Oh my God.
Because Paul's not the one that's going to just keep it at work. If he likes you, he's going to go, let's go get a beer. Let's go
Right.
do this. You know what I
The way
mean?
it should be.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's why we're here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we both do the same thing, and
Doing
we're
us a
both in the
favor.
same area.
By being on.
No, but I mean, like,
This is fun.
there's enough work for everybody. And you don't have to be out there to cut the other guy's throat.
No, there's no
You
need
know?
for that.
No. So we do our thing. We don't badmouth you. You don't bad us. If we need help, we got shortage of people, we throw work your way.
I've worked with you guys before. And when Paul first took me on, and you guys were doing a big project in Jersey City. I don't know if you want to talk about that. I know that went.
That was just some people.
Water
That's
under
all.
the bridge.
But I remember when he first took me on, he's like, you know what? They're going to teach you you're going to learn a whole bunch of stuff really fast on this job. And I did.
And that was the job that we exploded for.
Yeah, that's where we were. We were 28 then.
Yeah.
That
We
was-
right before that, we went up to.
Wow.
Yeah, you only saw probably half the crew while you were on that job.
Yeah.
But you were there every day. And
was there every day.
probably
Yeah.
4 or 5 HVAC guys, and then I don't know how many plumbing there every single day, and then
4 or 5, you know,
so
on
that's
both from
10,
both
10
ends.
10 people right there.
Yeah.
And then we 10 or 12 trucks running.
That was
with
an
helpers.
that was an interesting job. I mean, like I said, I learned a lot, and the guys who were on it who have been experienced, I learned a lot from those guys. I mean, the one guy, I don't want to say his name, but when he was doing those branches that came down from all the apartments and the way I still remember that. Like, it was like art.
Yeah.
Coming
That's the
in
way
and
it
doing
should
that
be.
PVC to come into all these different Ys and then funnel it. It's like amazing.
Used to hate it when the GC's like, I don't understand why it's taking him so long, and he's making it so perfect. The walls are going to be on top of it. Who cares? I'm like, I care. Like,
Yeah.
You know, it's
Exactly.
Dan Hallahan said, 100 years from now,
Yep.
you will marvel at my work and never know my name, and I'm all right with that.
Yeah.
That's it. You know,
That's the way it should be.
Yeah.
I mean, that's totally right. And it was, to touch base on what you said before, we had another local guy, Casey from Steadfast Plumbing, on last week, and we talked about the same thing. I said, on paper, we're supposed to be competitors. He's like, that's just stupid, though, especially around here.
Yeah.
And when you go out to Ohio, where my brother does plumbing, it's the opposite, because there's
really?
no work out there.
Yeah. Okay.
Everyone's spread so far
Cutthroat.
out. Yeah, cutthroat.
Yeah.
And most people just take care of their own stuff. You know, not like out here.
yeah, farmers.
I mean, they're calling you for, what is the most mundane thing we've ever gotten called for?
Fill valve.
Yeah.
Well,
Or
like-
kitchen faucet replacement. Like,
yeah, stuff that. Okay, well,
Even
this is another
simpler
thing
than that.
that I didn't
A
ask
flapper.
Casey.
Toilet seat replacement.
Flapper, toilet seat,
Yeah,
stuff like that. I
flapper,
mean, we'll
stuff
do
like
it.
that.
Yeah.
of course,
We'll 100%
Right,
do it. We'll
money.
go out there, and then we'll go out, and what we do is we go and say, listen, while I'm here, I'm going to point out everything that's not, you don't have to do it.
Listen, you need a new house.
But
We're gonna do it all over again.
I need $20,000
new.
immediately.
It's like the money pit. Give me $5,000 deposit. I'll see you in 2 weeks.
What'd you say? The good scotch for the good for the other plumber?
She's some good-looking wool.
It's so funny. No, but that's just an interesting fact that there should be competitors, but there's so much work, and
And you know what? You can't do it all. If you want to grow, sometimes you can't find the people, which
Right.
has been a problem for everybody. And you can rely on somebody else. Hey, you know, Eveready Fuel Oil, we work in the, like, they pay my guys hourly. I don't make any money. They just take my guys.
They're our sister
I have
company.
their guys.
They're just good.
They have a welding truck set up for bigger welding jobs. I borrow their guy all the time in their truck, and I pay them the hourly. I didn't. You
Yeah.
know,
you got to do what you got to do
well,
around here.
again, it's, you know, do I want to buy a welding truck for 3 times a year?
Right.
You know, like, and they do a lot more of it, and they, like, I'm doing a work next week. I think water heater job. It's commercial water heaters, all ProPress fittings, and it's 4 like 200-gallon tanks all piped together on their boilers. So, you know, hey, I need a couple guys, no problem. You
Yeah.
know, like that's. So they sell it. They pay my guys, so I don't have to look for work for them for a couple of days. I make a couple bucks, you
Right.
know, whatever, and that's all good.
Yeah.
I mean, if whatever propels everyone around here forward. I mean, because you do have to do that. You have to jump in, and
The electricians have been doing this in this area for years.
yeah,
You know, like, it's about
Small
time
shops
that we
combined and
got
do
on that.
jobs.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
knock this project out. And,
right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So throughout the years, as you guys have been growing, and like you said, you wouldn't. There's been times that you didn't take your father's advice. You went down the path that he's like, you're gonna fail, you're gonna screw up, you know. And Paul says that to me all the time, and I have to learn the hard way too. Everything up to this point has been the hard way.
I wouldn't say it was a failure or a screw up with that.
It changed quality of
It's a
life.
learning experience, you know. And it was, I mean, we made money. We made lots
Right,
of money. The
right.
problem was it was getting out from under us. Like
Handling.
the quality wasn't there. Maintaining the guys wasn't
Yeah.
there. Like, you know, and it was evident to the employees that they knew we needed them. I mean, we couldn't do without them. That's the problem,
Right.
Where
You
they
know.
had the upper hand versus the
absolutely.
owners. Yes.
And not to say they weren't worth it or anything like that, but it was a bad approach on their
Yeah.
point. Going, give me a raise or I'm out.
Yeah.
You know, like,
But you
whereas
know
we
what's-
could have talked about it, and probably if you're not happy with the money you're making, no, this was just, I'm holding you hostage.
I know the one situation, or the situation that you're talking about. And yes, we definitely got ourselves into a bind. It's funny how the many other situations where you have employees turn around and go, I got you. And the next guy comes in after that person's gone, and there's just no hiccup at all. You know?
That's a gamble.
That is like,
Since then, that pool has gotten thinner and thinner.
Yeah.
We've gone 6-8 months without somebody even coming through the door. You know,
I know everyone is desperate. I'm on a bunch of because we got an ad out right now looking for guys. By the way, Quartz Plumbing's hiring. If you want to learn plumbing, come on over.
For the 200 views.
if you want to learn more, come to Wickersheim.
If you want to make money, go to
Quartz
Wickersheim.
Plumbing will send you to Wickersheim, and then you can come back to us.
Go make your mistakes at Wickersheim and Sons.
No, but that whole hiring thing is a nightmare right now. And I don't know where everyone's getting their money to not have to work.
Yeah, I know.
But there's just not people filling jobs right now, especially the trades.
Yeah.
And it's starting to become worrisome,
Yep.
you know?
But if you come into it, you're going to get paid. Now, because there's a shortage, you're going to get paid. I'm paying guys more than anything that they should be getting to start off.
Yeah.
Okay. And if they're coming out of a trade school, they don't have a bill. They don't have
Right.
They don't have
Or if they
college
do, it's
tuition.
small.
It's small. And they can come right in, and we're paying by basically what you can do for us.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks, oh, I got to get my license. I'm not going to get paid till I get my license. I really don't care
No.
about your license.
And
Your
a lot of
lic-
people don't want to get their licenses.
Right. Then
Like,
don't.
yeah.
Just come in and
You
work
can hit the top of the pay scale without a license.
quickly.
you
And
know.
then I'm going to be, okay, you're making this much for us.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to pay you that way. Not, oh, I have to spend my 4 years to
No,
get
you're
my
right.
license.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
You
Show
are-
me you're going to keep my customers happy. Show me you're going to bring in money.
Yeah.
Productivity.
personality.
You make money, we make money, or is it the other way around?
Yeah. Personality, everything like that.
I mean, there really is no ceiling.
No.
You can keep going because if you're working for a company, you can get paid great working for a company, and if you one day decide to go out on your own, then that's even more.
Right.
Like if you start to, and you can build
Which
the
happened.
business.
We put 5-6 people through school, got their licenses, and went out on their own.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there's that. You spend all that money and time and training and everything.
Yeah.
And then see,
And then they break your
I'm on
heart.
it, Yeah.
Well,
and
I-
then you
you
see
know
them
what?
at the supply house. as
It depends on
competitors.
how they do it. There's a couple guys that did it the right way.
The right way.
Well, that's the thing.
And there's also a couple of guys that I've heard would come back.
yeah, that's
You know.
that line's down the middle because
Well, that's
most
huge.
plumbers are not businessmen.
No, it's huge to not burn bridges too.
Right.
As
Yeah.
an employee, as an owner of a company,
Right.
if for whatever reason, like I had to leave Quartz at one point, and I had to leave for
Oh my God.
I know.
I didn't know we were going.
And I
there.
still hold it. I still hold it against him.
I had to leave.
yeah.
But
No.
I never left Wickersheim and Sons.
He had to leave once, and then I had
Only
to
for-
lay him off once. So
There was
we're
one
even.
time where I had to leave, and there was one time where he laid me off, and both times I came back because there's no hard feeling. You leave the right way, and
Because where else
that's
are you
it.
gonna go?
Right.
What else are you gonna do?
Wickersheim.
I didn't want to stab you in the back.
I'll
but
leave you.
I
I'll
did.
leave the card for you.
I did try and
That's all.
bring him to the dark side.
I will tell you this: if you, let's say hypothetically, like you do
I
go work for
went to
them,
Wickersheim.
they're gonna bust your chops the worst.
I
I have
bet.
no
Out of
idea what you're talking about.
We would never. We would ridicule Phil the whole time.
Rip on me, just completely
It's
leave
so
it
much
sour.
better than working for Phil.
Now there's going to be 2 trucks bumping Quartz Plumbing trucks, 2 Wickersheim trucks bumping.
Front and
I
back.
can't drive down the freaking road without getting almost hit.
It's like a demolition derby. out there.
Box him in today.
So when I took over, let's say, okay, when Paul took over from my grandfather, there wasn't too much technical improvement. It was still kind of basically the same thing, unless you were doing like, you were typing up your invoices and sending them out. That was really the only difference. But now, in the 21st century, with social media and
Podcast.
podcasts, can you imagine? We should start one.
What exactly is that?
We have a whole dispatching app.
Yeah.
Where it notifies customers this person's on their way.
Yep.
Your job is finished. Click here to play online.
Let me send
Websites.
you your receipt email.
Yeah?
Your invoice via email. No paper.
My father wouldn't go computers.
ever.
Yeah.
Okay. He was so
Refused.
Against it. Yes, so against it. He said, "Why am I going to do that?" First off,
These are never going to catch on.
Well, first off, no.
It's a phase.
Like that on the line thing.
Listen, no, I'll tell you, he was definitely ahead of the game though, in one aspect.
Uh-huh.
He did
Can't
not
wait to
want
hear this
his he did not want his computer connected to the internet. He didn't want them to be able to see what he's doing. He didn't want them to be connected to where they're going to.
He was worried about hackers. big time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And when did he
Okay.
pass away?
No,
2006. So
If you could see today.
Oh my God, no, we don't even want to. We don't bring it. But
No, mind blown.
yeah, he was totally like, no, that's not what I want to do. So I knew we needed to go computers because we had the handwritten bills and all that wasn't going to go. And this is actually I think it was in the late 1990s, so maybe 1996 I think it was. My invoices I think was the first one that we went through. You know, we had the little computer thing. So I asked him a couple times, and he's like, nah, you know, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. So I'm like, all right. So
It's like pushing a rock uphill a lot of times with him.
I had my first house, and I was renovating the first house and everything. And I said, Dad, you know, I need help. I need help with these windows. So I already bought I bought my invoices. I had it set up down in the living room, and I said, hey, Dad, I said, hey, listen, I got to take this thing. I got to make a phone call. Sit here. And I put a Coors Light, which was his beer, next to the computer. I said, you know, just mess around with this. So he messed around with it. I'm upstairs on my bed sitting there watching TV. Like, come down like 15, 20 minutes later, and he's like messing around. I said, if I can make this work for the company, I said, would you buy it back from me? I already laid the money out. He goes, yeah, 1 month. And after that, we were computerized.
Really?
We weren't hooked up.
Okay.
I don't even think that back then it was anything like
Right.
that. But but it was like, all right, that was the step.
That was the first step.
When
That
we
was the
did
big
your
one,
deck
yeah.
at your house, that same
Yeah,
house,
yeah.
we're trying to figure out how to square up the posts. And we're all talking. And it's like, there's this 3, 4, 5 method. I go, but I don't know how it works. And Scott goes, well, I'll figure it out. He goes inside. And Dad, it's like, yeah, what's he going to do? Look at an encyclopedia or something? He comes out with a printout. And he's like, how the hell did you do that? He's like, I went on the internet. He's like, holy.
Sold. Sold.
He's like, no way you got that fast.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Just in 20 years.
know.
My grandfather died in 2001. I can't even imagine what he would say to what he's seeing now all like today.
Yeah.
Like there was such a funny meme where it was like 2 pictures side by side, and one was in the 1950s when they wanted to hook up like the telephone. They're like, I don't want that in my house. They're gonna wiretap me. And then the next one is like this modern woman with an Alexa. She's like, hey, wiretap, what's a recipe for pancakes? And that's exactly what it is. Like we're monitored all the time.
Yeah.
So
Well,
exactly what
He
they
would
were
still
afraid
put
of.
his Easy Pass inside the aluminum envelope so that he couldn't track him on the road. Like he's like, Big Brother's watching. I'm not doing it.
They listen. They are.
It's like I'll hold it up to the windshield when I got to go through the tolls, but I'm back in the bag.
They are, but it's over.
Yeah.
It's every single thing that we're recording with the phone. It's all.
It's done.
You don't have any privacy. You can forget about privacy.
I got some guys who are, you know, they're cops. Some of them are like, I have a cousin who's a Fed. He's like, listen, we can get anything we want.
Yeah.
Anything we want. All we need is probable cause or an inkling of something. We can just take it, or we don't even need to do that.
Say the B word and
Yeah.
spell. You know, all that you need to do is
Yeah.
string a nice sentence of words together.
I know.
And they're going to
Yep.
come looking.
And
And
exactly.
they will. Well, it's the same thing with like Google search. You know how they steer you into what they want you
Oh,
to
yeah.
see. You know, it
And they
starts
block
with the
other things,
suggestion
yeah.
when you start typing, and then it's like the top rated searches for the
Yeah.
day, and there's like
They know based off of your recent searches how you would actually what kind of answers you would be looking for.
Well, how many times you're having a conversation in your kitchen about camping, and then you
then
go
you
on
have
your computer at work, and it
camping
shows
ads.
tents.
Yeah.
And
I
you're
know.
like, what the hell?
And they're like, yeah, we do that.
Yeah.
So
But
it's salesmanship.
here's where the businessman has to take advantage of that.
How do we make
with
money
the
from it?
algorithms? So like, there's a whole bunch of different ways you can kind of trick the algorithms for Google SEO, search engine optimization, where now you're getting boosted when you search for local companies by starting a blog and putting hashtags. So you're kind of tricking the algorithm to push you forward. You know, it's almost like tricking the system almost.
Yeah.
You know, to take advantage, and people will pay a lot of money for advice on how to do that.
Right.
You know, it's out there. You can find it. And now there's whole companies that just will take over everything. Did you say you were using one?
That's
you
what
started.
we're
yeah.
just starting up. Yeah, we're just starting up with everything like that. You know, with the we have a video coming out, and City of Hackensack growing as much as it is. We want to take advantage of being there because we're right in the heart of it. We want their service.
Yeah.
We want to be able to the guy in there. And then we were reached out to by the advertising company that's doing their website, and our ad's going to be on that website.
Oh, you're talking about your new commercial?
Our new commercial.
Yeah,
Yep.
I showed
saw
him
that.
today.
Yeah.
When does
Yeah.
it come out?
That was nice.
It's Well, the shorter
I actually
version.
look for it. I can't find it online.
The shorter version is coming out very shortly. I've had meetings weekly. It's a lot of.
You were
It's a great
invited too.
video.
You just didn't show
No,
up.
it's all fine.
Everybody's
he
got their-
set this up. So
Yeah,
who
Who's
everybody-
older?
do you think?
I would guess Scott.
It's just a maturity. level.
Aside from the gray hair that
I mean, well, he's smart. He shaves it all up.
I try to look older.
No, I showed him the commercial today, and we are like, oh, look, there's James doing what he does at the at the supply house in the middle of the doorway when you're trying to go in.
Words were dollars. We'd be rich.
I was to be
You know
honest,
what?
I was.
He's a great guy. He really is. But, oh
He
my
started
God.
when I first started with you
Yeah,
guys.
that
He
boy
started
can
on that
talk.
Jersey City job with me.
Yes. Yep.
And the guy who was running that job used to bust his chops so bad, like
Yeah.
to the point where it was kind of cruel.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, why do you
Hasn't
hate him
stopped.
so much? He's a
Yeah.
nice kid. No.
No, even the helpers bust his chops. My son comes through and it's like, oh my God, Dad.
No, he started when I started. Wow, and that was we're going 8 years ago. It's just, it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I worked with you for a little while with the big guy. I could probably see he talks about this, Big Brian,
Yep.
and me and him would go out in the field.
Yep.
And he's one who just refused to get his license. He was a journeyman for years. He's like,
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Yep.
I'm happy.
It's a commitment, man. They make it hard. 4 years of schooling, while you're working. So, I mean, nobody, you're married with kids. Who wants to go to school at night,
Yeah.
And when I took the test, I didn't have to do that. It was just take
It was
tests.
It was 2 years too, right? It was only for 2
Oh,
years.
no. It was 4.
It was?
4 years. The fifth. You actually had to be plumbing under a licensed plumber for 5 years before you were, and that plumber had to sign a document saying you were there. They didn't ask for W-2s. It was just a letter from my father or my uncle saying, yeah, he worked here, what kind of work he did, and that submitted to the state, and they'll makes you eligible.
Hang on 1 second. This is getting out of control. Hey, stop it. Stop. They're going to
Come on
knock
now.
everything over.
What are you
Stop.
doing?
Come here.
We're having fun.
Come here.
They'll do that
great.
all day long.
That's so cool.
And they'll go because they'll hang out on people's property while we're working and
Uh-huh.
stuff in their backyard, and they'll start to go at it, and they'll really go at it.
Yeah.
And one lady ran down, your dogs are killing each other. Like, you really, this is when I ran out, like,
Yeah.
what's going on?
Yeah, yeah.
And they're doing that. I'm like, lady, relax. You need to get a
Now they're-
dog of your own.
Now they're tongue kissing.
Yeah.
Out of here.
We had a job where we were doing. It was like it was a whole house renovation, and there's 3-4 subs on the job. Everybody's working in and out, and towards the end, trying to finish up, there was like you couldn't tell who was coming in and going,
Right.
and the cat got out, a house cat,
Oh.
gone. And it's like, oh my God, nobody knew who it was. And I'm like, and I felt terrible. I was like,
Yeah.
talking with the homeowner. I'm like, I don't think it was my guys. I don't know, but it affected me. Like, I can't say it wasn't. So it was very, very, it was bad. So like the next week, I'm working in another house and I'm carrying a radiator out. And that was a long, very, very big radiator. And I'm carrying out one of my guys in the house. I didn't think the woman was at home. We had the key to go in. We're doing what we had to. Carrying this radiator out. And a cat shoots past us. Right out into we came out the back because the driveway came up along this way. Cat shoots past us. We're like, oh! Now, what? I don't want to exaggerate. 200-pound radiator.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Putting it down as carefully as we can. I am chasing this cat through this backyard, diving at it. I'm like this. I got grass stains here. It is, and I hear a voice coming up behind me. Scott. And I turn around and there's the woman I've worked for since I was a kid, standing on the deck looking at me. She's like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "We let your cat out." She's like, "It's an outside cat." I'm filthy. I'm like, you were 2 of us. We were sweating and all that.
Oh my
Like, I
gosh.
cannot lose 2 cats in a week. It's like, even if it wasn't us.
I worked for a company, and this was before I worked there, but they told this story all the time. Someone had let the dog out that got hit, and that was something that, like, oh my gosh,
I've seen
Yeah.
that Judge Judy case.
Yeah.
It's.
does sound like a Judge Judy case.
I've seen that.
My dad killed a German Shepherd on a job once.
Yeah.
I was like 12 or 13, and
Can this be edited?
The lady,
It can, but will we?
the lady let the
to
dog
see.
out of the cage to get used to people, and we walked in. She said, "Come on in," and the dog jumped at my dad's throat. My dad jammed his forearm into the dog's mouth, fell down, and he had no intentions of hurting the dog. He was protecting himself, but when he fell, he wrapped his arm around the dog's neck and he snapped the dog's neck as he hit the ground. And it was a big German Shepherd, and the lady went postal, and was like, "You killed my dog." He's like, "The dog came at my neck."
Don't let your
coming at
German.
me.
If
What's
listen,
wrong?
if you have a dog, big or small, doesn't matter. When you have workers, just put it away. You know, like just put it away for the most part.
Just for lawsuit purposes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
Just put it away.
This we went to a house. We did a job, and this woman had 2 little Yorkies.
Oh,
The
Ankle
whole
biters.
Yeah.
the whole time.
No, she-
and she'll be talking to us, and the dog is biting my ankle, and I'm like,
and I told him one time, I was like, "Listen, the dog bit me, and I kicked him." So,
Yeah.
and I sent the dog like because he bit me hard. He I was bleeding, and I didn't want to like embarrass anybody or
Unacceptable.
say anything like
It
that.
bit
So
me and I kicked him, and now
I
I'm
kicked the
satisfied.
dog. So I was like, "Listen, if you see the dog with a limp, just ignore it. Ignore.
Sorry, that was me.
Don't tell her anything."
but she's
Just so you don't know.
oblivious. Like,
Yeah.
lady, I'm not finding this adorable.
Yeah.
Neither of us are. We're
Isn't
trying to get
he
your
cute?
kitchen done.
No.
Dogs are different. You know, most dogs love me. I don't know why. The animals like me, and there's a very few that bite me. But I was at a job on Fairmount Ave in Hackensack, right up the street. Lady's name is Margaret. Knows my dad real well. She calls me in from like a porch into the front door. So that's like I go through the front door. So now I'm 15, 18 feet from the front door.
Right.
And this 220-pound Great Dane, Commander was his name, was all feet coming at me, like, and it's coming right from me.
It's
And
huge.
at this point, I'm not going to make the door, and I don't want to be scared of the dog because
Right.
they sense that. So
Yeah.
I puffed up as big as I could. I'm like, "How you doing, puppy?" And I just grabbed it and started petting it, and it flopped
Like
over
Lenny.
onto his leg. And this lady's like, "What'd you do to my dog? He's never done that before." And then he was leaning on me through the whole estimate. Like, she's like, "He really likes you." I'm like, "Thank God." I thought he was going to eat me. Yeah,
You took the alpha roll and then gave him fainting goat syndrome. You ever seen that video? Oh, so funny.
That's great.
It gets me every time. We're going to go to break in a couple minutes, but I wanted to ask you guys, it's kind of a two-parter over the years, because you've had it, but you've been in it for a while now. When you first went in to now, and we feel that every business should have some kind of business plan. How has that evolved over the years? And where you're at now, has it changed much from where you took over?
Well, yes. The way we were beforehand, when we first took over in 2006, I think our plan was more to grow.
Yeah.
And we had aspirations of growing and being bigger and going through there. I really think now our aspirations would be, and from what we've talked to, it's more about kind of locking into what we're good at,
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
just saying, okay, we don't need
That's what
to
I
do
was
everything.
thinking.
Yeah, you know, we don't need to do everything. We
We
don't
used
need
to do anything and everything
Yeah.
for money. I mean,
Yeah.
and
Well, we wanted to. Our goal was to keep the customer. We never advertised. This is the first time we started advertising. It's basically we were initiated
This
by.
is the first ad you guys ever
yeah,
done?
well, other than
This is
Social
silly
media or
stuff.
something?
No,
Okay.
no church
Church
bulletins,
bulletins,
and we took
school
that out one time.
flyers. Yeah.
We took church bulletins out one time, and we got phone calls from all these elderly people thinking that we went out of business.
Yeah, it was really weird. But that actually generated a lot of
It did,
business. That was
yeah.
probably
Wow.
one church
Yeah.
in Maywood, one in Hackensack. That was best bang for your buck, basically, with advertising. You know, and then the schools, because we did work at the schools. We're in Hackensack, the Hackensack High School. You know, we need a box for the play or something, fundraisers. So we did that. You know, here's a business card. Here's $100. You know, just to get and to keep your name out there. And like, hey, if they see your truck at the donut shop and
Yeah.
they saw it in the high school play bulletin, it's a win-win. That's it. We never did anything more.
The only place that seeing your truck doesn't benefit is when we're trying to pull to that supply house that's behind that strip club.
Jeez, or I got food poisoning and I was
Oh
on
my
hands
God,
and knees
yeah.
thrown up on the side of the road with the truck there. That wasn't
And
that wasn't very good.
I was
There's no bad
coaching-
advertising.
I was
Yeah,
well,
I
I don't
know.
know. I was coaching a lot of kids stuff, And I heard at the one of the fields is like, I see your trucks pulling into that strip club all the time. I'm like,
That's true.
whoa,
No.
hold
There's
on
an
a
air
second.
Listen, our guys
Supply
work
house.
hard, so they
Right
play hard.
behind.
Okay.
No, the supply house is right behind.
That is an
swear.
unfortunate place for a
It's
supply house.
exactly. I don't know how many times I'd be like, no, you don't understand. I'll
I
show you
I
on the
took my
map.
office manager Sarah there to the supply house one time. We had gone out
God, I
for
was
lunch,
like-
and I pulled. You have to actually pull through the strip club parking lot to get to the supply house. The easiest way. And I pulled through, and she's like, "I am not going to a strip club." with
You
I'm
felt the
like,
lawsuit coming real quick.
You were gonna, yeah, let's go get some lunch.
Yeah, I was like, what? You're not going to come with me?
Sorry, we got
Listen, that's
sidetracked.
fine. You
We
can
need
sit
to
in the
get
car
rid of
then.
you, and this is your new employment.
Hands down, one of the funniest moments with her. And then, of course, she got even because when we went into the supply house, she's in her 30s, and one of the countermen go, "Oh, so you're going to take over your dad's business?" I'm like, "Ouch."
Oh, this is like a double whammy.
Yeah.
She's like, you know what?
I
I'm,
was
I'm
up
not. I'm
here,
never leaving the
Cut
office.
me off at the knees.
No, we've been working on a business plan to kind of fine tune it, and the things that you guys have probably been through, especially with the big growth, the fast growth, and then doing that in this. I have certain goals that I want for the company, and they haven't changed too much. This we never really had, the whole podcast thing. I didn't think we were going to get into all this,
Yeah.
but
What a
so
sideline.
it does.
Pretty cool.
It does morph.
Yep.
But you guys have the things that you have been through, the things that you've seen, the lessons you've learned, which I have not even remotely learned. I still call you all the time for advice, and
That's fine. I still call Mr. Preisendorf from Ever Ready Fuel Oil for advice.
Yeah.
So I mean that never ends, And but the thing we're kind of doing now is looking for like quality jobs
Yeah.
rather than quantity. Like I said, if I got a job that I don't think I can man, I will pass, and I'm not embarrassed anymore. Whereas before, I didn't want to lose a customer. I'm sorry, I can't handle it.
yeah,
And you know what? I'm sorry. This
Discretion is the better part of valor in the sense
Right.
that I'd just rather make more money somewhere else than lose money trying to help you.
we're in the business to make money.
yeah.
And
it is a business.
it was a hard thing to learn.
Oh, yeah.
Because, the way this business evolved was these are your customers. Do what you have to take care of them.
Yeah.
And it's not always popular. What I'm going to say is that there's a lot of customers out there that are unrealistic,
And they shouldn't.
you really don't want to work
You don't
for.
want-
Listen, we have no shame here.
Yep.
I'll tell you right
You
out.
know?
There's people
Yeah.
that we won't. That
No,
We'll
we
recommend you
have
to
a-
Wickersheim.
We have a blacklist.
you want to be difficult.
There's actually
know what?
bad
There's-
customer websites that you can actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I
Really?
looked into that.
You got to
Yep.
give me a couple. You got to give me.
Yeah.
Hey, stop it.
But it's take your lumps.
One of the lists that's out there that you see is like really, it's not even worth working for.
Wow. I didn't.
Yeah.
It's like what is it like?
We're gonna break
Rate
this up.
Rate
Keep
My
it
Ex. They have like a Rate My Ex
Yeah.
website,
Yeah.
and you can rate somebody's ex.
I always thought that
You
would be a
can-
good idea, but I didn't know how legal it was.
I know. I thought
You
that
know?
too. Long time ago. I was
Slander.
like, I want to do it. Are we off?
No, we're still going.
Oops.
No, don't worry about it. Let's take a break. The dogs need a break. I'm going to take them outside. But guys, I'm glad you're here. We'll pick this up again, folks. Stick with us. We're going to come back with Rob and Scott Wickersheim and just talk
Damn
about
dogs.
kill them.
They both look like what?
All right, we'll be right back.
Call Quartz Plumbing and Heating for top-rated service in Bergen County, New Jersey. And don't forget to keep treats for Frankie on hand.
Wickersheim & Sons has been a trusted name for plumbing, heating, and cooling services since 1926. Founded by Gus Wickersheim, the company has served generations of Bergen County residents and continues to be family-owned and operated today. No job is too big or too small for our team. We also know that emergencies can arise at any time. That's why we're available 24/7. No matter what you need, we'll ensure that a qualified technician is ready to assist you as soon as possible.
All right, folks, we're back with Plum Bums Podcast, the blue collar tradesman show where we talk about small business and entrepreneurship in 2023. These crazy times of 2023. I'm still stuck on that line. We'll figure something out.
You'll figure something out.
We'll figure something out.
That's not a we. That's not a we thing.
Why don't we try to figure something out for once instead of
Because we couldn't
got
even
it.
build this set. We couldn't even build this set together.
Yeah, so we were I think I told you the story off camera, but this was a nightmare. Oh, this is an absolute
told me.
nightmare. We'll put in boilers together, 12, 14 hours together all day long. Fine. Listening to music, joking. We try to put this up. It was like we've been married for 40 years.
Yeah.
Decorating ideas differ.
It wasn't
I don't
really
know
that
what it was.
it wasn't really that it was so different. It was just putting everything, like he had a vision
Yeah.
and I had
And I'm
something
not,
in
I'm
my
not
head
very
too.
expressive.
And he's like, "No, it's gonna work out. It's gonna look great." And I'm just like, "You're buying brick wallpaper. It's not."
How great is that?
I'm like, have a little faith. So I always quote him. I always quote him the Fight Club line. I will drag you kicking and screaming, and in the end, you will thank me.
It's the distressed look. It's hip these days.
But anyway, we're here again, back with Rob and Scott Wickersheim of Wickersheim Plumbing, Wickersheim and Sons Plumbing and Heating, Cooling.
Who made that
Is
logo?
that in there?
Who made that logo?
Actually, a friend of mine. Yeah, way back.
How long ago?
A group effort, actually. The whole truck design, we all had input on.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, the wrench part was a friend of mine that, back in 2003. I think
You
was
can
when
see
it
that
first-
truck
yeah.
from a long
Yeah,
way
the
away
big
too.
red wrench. That's
Yep.
all I get. It's like, I saw the big red wrench going over here.
And they say it's upside down.
Yeah,
Because
that's
if
what
you
I
notice,
hear.
most people, plumbers that have a pipe wrench, it's facing down.
Oh yeah.
So when we first got it, it's like, it's upside down. It's like, no, that's to catch the luck. That's why it's facing
Oh my god!
All right, so
my
you
father
came up.
didn't miss a beat.
You came up with something. That's fair enough. I mean, so you completely reinvented the look
Yeah.
when you took over.
Yeah, well, no, that was actually right before. It was before. my
Okay.
father
He was still
passed.
there, yeah.
Yep. It was a friend of mine who's an artist who does comic work and things like that.
It was the
and,
98 truck, I think was the first one.
yeah,
you guys
98. Yep.
came up
Well, I
with.
figured out how to squeeze this into every episode, but we actually have my uncle Paul Quartz is hanging out in the back.
Holy!
Oh, God.
But Paul, when,
From the second he walked in, all three of them, it's like you can tell that they're longtime friends.
exactly. So you've been
Constantly
doing this.
laughing
Oh,
and
boy.
You guys almost pretty much officially took over when you took it in '96, and then we talked about it on the first half.
I met Rob at Bagel Shop. They
Yeah, that's right.
first started meeting,
Yeah.
hanging out. Not hanging out, but I think that's the first time we met.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden,
Yeah.
we just went on.
Oh, you're Scott's brother? Because you had been dealing with Scott for a while.
Yeah. And ever since then,
Yeah, but he had me draw the Quartz logo when I was a kid. When he first took over
It
in
looks like
'96,
Was it in crayon?
maybe. But I think it transferred fine. Jerk.
Sorry.
Jerk. You
Listen.
know what? That's Rob's nickname. My
Jerk?
sister. Yeah,
Shut up, you jerk.
it's actually what my sister
I
has
actually
called
thought that
him.
was my last name for a long time.
I will go to the supply house and accidentally leave my keys in the ignition with the window down.
yeah.
And Rob will come in. He'll say, "Hey," he won't even hint to it, and I'll go to get the. And we're in a rush always.
Of course. Yeah.
And I'm hunting for the keys in the truck, and I'm pissed off. I'm like, "Where could they have gone?" And I see Rob's freaking face staring through the window with a big smile, just dangling the keys.
Or I leave him on Scott's desk, the manager of the branch.
Yeah, I found him there,
Like, you know where they're
and I got
gonna
to
be.
walk back into the supply house like. Anyone see like a crazy person? Does anyone see the keys? Like, you know,
And I usually announce it to Scott. Hey, keep an eye on these because I do it. It's not just you. I do it to other plumbers too. Finley Plumbing, other guys. Or I'll move the truck if they can't see where the
my
truck is.
God.
I'll drive it
That's
around and
great.
park it up next door.
oh my gosh! I mean, that's a great prank, but it sucks for the guy being pranked.
Oh yeah. Well,
Could you imagine like a
no
hel-
harm, no foul.
Could you imagine
it
like a
doesn't cost you
helper
anything.
for like a
Oh
new
my
helper
God.
for the company, and that's what
Oh.
he gets, and he's like, "Oh my god, I lost the truck."
I'm sicking Rob on the new helper.
There you go.
to break him in.
I'll bring the truck to my yard.
I would say
it got stolen.
Go pick something up from Wickersheim.
that the blue collar camaraderie is super important. We've talked about this as well. I mean, Paul, you guys have used to go out on trips together with our supply house
Oh, my
manager,
God. Who's a great guy there? Scott from Ferguson.
Scott from
Fantastic.
Ferguson.
Yeah.
If
Yep.
he leaves,
Yep.
the whole operation
yeah.
collapses.
You guys
He's
got
the
to convince
reason
him
we're
to come
there.
on.
Yeah, but the trips that he should. He definitely
Yeah.
should.
No, you know what I said to him? I was like, "When are you coming on?" He's like, "I'm not coming on that thing."
Maybe if we get on, where we get
You
a
guys
bigger-
don't have enough views.
give a bigger couch.
We need more
and
microphones.
we could tell stories. We could
He's like,
tell
all right,
more
my
stories
appearance fee is
about it.
10 grand minimum.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, well, you're doing it right. But so there was a story that I remember listening to in the supply house, and I was dying laughing when you went out on a snowmobiling trip one time years ago, and it was mayhem. It was just madness. I mean, you left the state like there was just roadblocks, and a whole bunch of new laws in the state were passed shortly after that.
It really was an interesting weekend. There was more fun that to be had than we care to acknowledge in public.
Listen, snowmobiling is treacherous. Snowmobiling and drinking is just
You
straight
know
up.
what? I'm sorry, but we're going to start off by where this is going. There was not a drop of freaking alcohol in me before this actually happened, okay? I know
could
where it's
say
going. I
all
see
the
the
mine
pain
was left on the
all
trail.
through it was 9:45 a.m., people, and I did not drink prior to this. All right?
That might have helped if the flask was full.
That is,
Yes.
a little bit more padding.
Yeah.
No, it's those stories that like the younger guys coming up when they see the older guys joking around like that. It's actually very important to see. I think when I first brought in and Paul started taking me around, and he's like, "This is Scott and Rob. We work with these guys. We do some work with these guys. So this is Scott, our supply manager," and immediately Scott's just ball busting, because he has to break people in immediately, and he always does it when you come in a horrible mood. Like he can smell it from his office. He's like, I'm just gonna go mess with this guy.
Yeah, but he tries to lighten the mood,
Yeah.
Obviously, that's what his intent is. It's not malicious.
He's
No.
good at what he does.
He's hysterical.
Great hard guy.
He's one of the funniest guys, I think.
But the younger guys coming in, when they see all that, I keep using the word camaraderie, but joking around and like a good relationship, non-competitive, helping each other out, picking up the slack. That's important for guys to see coming up.
And that's what I remember when we were kids, coming in, going to work at Ridgewood Corp. That was our supply house back then. Excuse me. There was a Ridgewood Corp in Hackensack down on First Street. And that's where we lived. That every day was your end to there. And you'd stand with Dad and, the supply house guys who I still talk to, and all, the guys that are still young enough to be there, be alive.
Right.
But, you come in and that's where Dad, my father met your father, and I remember it.
Yeah.
Right. I'm sorry. So I just think you're old enough to be his brother. That's why I was saying
Everyone
it,
does.
especially after that comment about who the hell was older. Fuck. Excuse me.
You're in your
You
50s,
got
right?
blink that part.
I'll bleep it
like
out.
that.
I have one. I have.
I think he forgot about that.
Well, we've been drinking a couple to loosen up, so I understand it.
So anyway, but it was that kind of stuff that and what really. My earliest memory about having like fun times, I think I was like ninth grade. I'm working in the summertime, and there was this guy, Wayne.
Wayne, yeah.
Yeah. Wayne
His
was
dad was the manager of the Westwood branch.
Wayne was this big guy,
Very big
Yeah,
guy.
and my father didn't care about anything that way. He's like, your size, and he was just looking for the laugh. Okay. And at that time they had
He was a
armor
scary guy.
flex.
When I was a kid, he was scary. He was bad.
Wayne, they had Armorflex just came out, okay, and Armorflex, the inside of Armorflex was coated with the white powder to make it slip on and all that.
Okay.
All right, so I'm with
believe you
Dad. I'm with Dad, and we're sitting there, and my father's like, I need 12 lengths of 3/4 Armorflex. And he puts it up on the counter. He's sitting back, and he was just your typical like counter person, not bad, but just like
Small talking
it
the whole
is,
time, so
but working
the
back and forth.
conversation's flowing.
Right.
So, and my father was he was a smoozer, but everybody
He was smooth.
Totally. He sit back. He goes, Wayne, you see what they're doing? They're over freaking, they're over
see what's
powdering this
inside of
shit.
this? You ever
Did you
see
see
what's
inside
inside
how
of these?
bad
What
they're
the- this
over
is
powdering this
terrible.
shit? And Wayne's like, what?
No way.
Yeah, just like the white light that
It
he
was
says
like a
wasn't
cocaine
here.
party. Boom, right. Oh my God.
My father smacked my
way.
arm, and we ran out, jumped in the trucks, and we're gone.
He laughed, thank God. Because
But
I'm like,
he-
you're going to get killed.
We're gonna get killed. We're in the car. We're driving away. We'll get the friggin' material later. It doesn't matter. That was just good.
Oh my God. The older
Hey.
guys, they don't care. They just don't care.
You shrink wrapped one of the counterman's cars.
Really?
He shrink wrapped the whole car. He comes out of work and he got to cut the shrink wrap off. He can't even get into his car.
And the key is don't use one piece because that's easy. To
Yeah,
do.
yeah, yeah,
You got to
'cause you
keep
can-
cutting.
He's throwing the roll across the roof of the car to me.
Oh
Here,
my
and
God.
I'm throwing it under. We're like, it took us all of like 15 minutes. Like we're running around like, here, catch, and like catch.
Great.
And it was like a red car. So when he came out, it was black shrink wrap. So he's like, I don't know where my car is. I was like, that's your car.
That is great. The older generation. I remember my grandfather when we used to go out. He didn't care. He would bust anybody's chops, but the waiter, the doorman at Walmart, whatever. It didn't matter. I don't know how he would get away. He told me this one story. He had this customer. I'll never forget it. He told me that when I was a kid. I thought it was one of the funniest things I ever heard. He had to fix a tenant's toilet, and this woman was big. She's a big woman, very big woman. Like not like normally big, like abnormally big. Okay, didn't leave her house much. Was much kind of a lifer in her apartment, but a nasty lady. He had to fix the toilet. The next day it broke. And he's there, and the landlord's there, and he's hunched over the toilet trying to fix it. And she's like screaming at him, pointing his finger, tapping his shoulder, like scolding him. And she's like, "You're supposed to put this toilet in. I've waited forever for the toilet. I'm sure this was a lot of money, and that you gouged the guy." And my grandfather goes very calmly. He turns around. He goes, "That's because this toilet's made for humans, not elephants."
Jesus.
And the landlord lost it. Like he lost it. Couldn't stop laughing. The lady was like, like completely lost it. In a Quartz Plumbing shirt,
Yes,
pulling up
of
in a
course.
Quartz
Hard on
Plumbing
his
truck.
sleeve,
Yeah.
man. Hard on his sleeve.
But he walked out with the landlord, and the landlord was like, "I've wanted to say something like that for so long." She's the worst.
Locked in. That customer
Yeah,
locked in.
forever. No filter at all. And they just did it, and it's a North Jersey thing.
Yeah.
So your father grew up in Hackensack.
Yep.
All right, so
Yep.
Grandpa grew up in Elizabeth. Just
Edge,
urban area,
edge.
exactly,
Yep.
the edge.
The edge. Yep.
Where you just don't care.
So my
you know how,
father's big
it's not
thing.
that. You just know how to deal with people. You
Yeah.
know what you can get away with,
Yeah.
first
Right.
of all, and you've been doing it after so many years. You know what you can say and what you can't.
It's an East Coast talent.
Yeah.
My father
Reading
liked
people.
to put in a new toilet and take his coffee cup. He would make sure this was very. He explained.
don't
this to
leave the
both of
room.
us. You don't leave the room. He would take the toilet out of a box. He would put it in, install it, hook it up himself, not leave the room, and
Bring
when-
the customer in.
Bring the
to
customer
teach her
in
how to work it.
to show him or her how to work it. He'd take his coffee cup, put it in the bowl, and as he's talking,
Take a drink of water.
Oh my gosh. No way.
Oh, absolutely.
just to watch
Brand
the
new.
reaction.
Watch him get horrified.
That's a good one.
Yeah, first of all, like,
I like that one.
So he knew the water's coming out of the into
Yeah.
the ball back.
flush it a couple times to
Oh,
rinse the
that's
dust
it.
off.
Yeah.
It was
The porcelain
it was
dust.
Totally clean water coming through.
That's
Yeah.
hysterical,
But just
though.
the visual of through the bowl. Like,
That's
all right,
hysterical.
so what are we talking about? You like it? It's like, oh, my
Customers
God.
respond to that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh,
Though.
they love
when you
it.
have a good sense of humor and you're just a normal person
love to.
and not just a dweeb in a
Yeah.
button down, like trying to be all businessy.
Yeah.
They gravitate to that because there's so many big franchise companies where you'll never get the same guy.
No
You'll
personality.
Yeah, no personality. They're coming in there to fulfill their contract. That's it. That's why small businesses like ours,
Yep.
family owned.
Yep.
The same person answers the phones. Most of they
Family.
usually see the same guys coming. That's important.
I worked for a lady at 15 or 16 years old on an emergency with my dad. It was a Saturday. She was having a birthday party for her son, and a Hulk Hogan lookalike was at the party. Right, I remembered it vividly because he was in the backyard, like slamming these kids
don't
into
know
the
this
mats
one.
and
That's
everything.
great.
So she's been a customer forever. 10, 20 years later, her husband, Jim, Mr. Fix-It, tried to fix the toilet, and it kept running and running and running. And I walk in, and the overflow or the refill tube was down too far, and it was siphoning out of the tank.
Yeah.
Simple fix. So I just, Carol, Jesus, tell your husband he's a jerk. And I pick it up and hook it on top of the thing. And I put the lid on. I go, this one's on me. And as I start walking out, she's like, oh, no. You need to show me what the hell he did wrong. Like, you can't just fix it that fast. So, okay. So, but plumbers sit on the toilet backwards. The first thing I do is hit the flusher, take the tank lid and put it on my lap, and the refill hose comes off of its holder, and it's now like a fire hose spraying me and her. And she, of course, comes in. It's over my shoulder, and it's spraying the crowd. And she's smacking me. She's going, oh, and hitting me. I'm crying. I'm so embarrassed. I'm so red. And I put it on my. I'm so sorry. So by the time I got home, she'd already called my dad, and I had called him first and told him what happened. But she's on the phone with him like seconds after me. He goes, I understand I have to call DIFUS. She goes, what are you talking about? He goes, you just beat the shit out of my son. She's like, oh my God, he told you.
So how long, when you guys took over, how long did it take for the customers to stop saying, oh, I want your dad? I don't want,
You know what? We were always the boys. So
Okay.
it didn't matter.
And we weren't really taking over at that point. Dad was still alive. He just didn't go out.
Yeah.
So
there
there was a
was a
transition.
Yeah.
They had him on the phone, and
they would love. He would talk to customers forever.
Yeah.
which they wanted.
Yeah.
That's what my grandfather would do. Paul said it all the time. Like, they would go out,
Yeah.
and then he would sit there and he would talk to the customer and have a cup of coffee while you did all the work.
Yeah. But that was the baton being passed, and as an apprentice, you didn't realize it.
Right.
That's how he's your dad's gonna make sure it's all right, no problem. And there was like a customer of God since my grandfather's age that had a big old house, Mrs. Cohen, and she was very particular.
Yeah.
I'll use that word generously. And she wanted Jack, my dad's 12-year-old older brother, and then my dad had to go in kicking and screaming for her to accept him.
Right.
And then it was me, the rite of passage.
Yeah.
And when my dad was in the office, he's like, Mrs. Cohen, I got the same job you do now. Oh, what's that, Bobby? I just get to sit around and bitch all day. It was like, Rob will take care of it, I promise. And that was it. Okay,
The
then
comments that he would say.
It's the same thing. It gets passed down the line. So when Rob walked in, what's the first thing on the wall you noticed? Indian motorcycles.
Yes, Indian motorcycle.
So Rob, you're a Harley rider,
Absolutely.
100 through and through.
Yes.
There's I don't know what it is, but there's like a continuity line between all you Harley riders. For some reason, you can always sniff it out. I don't.
Well, it's a group. It's.
How long you been riding bikes?
Oh God, since I got my first motorcycle at 8 years old, Trail 70 Honda.
Really?
Yeah. We all rode it.
Really?
Yep. Yeah, that was right across the street. Right on South Lake
South
Drive.
Holy
Along
smokes.
Route 4. No helmets.
I mean, that's
Yep,
That's
just
when to
shooting
start.
down. Yep.
That was
8
my
years
first.
old.
That was
8 years old,
yeah.
and I moved
and it had a
into a-
banana seat, so it was like either one of us could ride.
I gotcha.
The other guy behind the back.
Got a 125 Enduro for a little while in my teens, and then I got a 3-wheeler, Honda 250R 3-wheeler, and then moved. Then I took a little bit of a break.
You had a trike for a while, huh?
Yeah, a lot of years. And then I got my first quad when I was 28, and then for my wife actually and me, and then I got another one and another one. And I got my first street bike at 35. I got a Yamaha Maxim, and then I bought a Yamaha V-Star, and then I got a Harley.
And you got Dad's.
Yeah, now I
On
have
the
3
seven,
bikes still.
on the
Yeah.
four.
You still have the V-Star? Because I remember
Still have the
seeing it.
V-Star, yeah. It's a
Okay.
2004 all custom paint.
And you're a quad. You ride
I'm a quad
ATVs.
rider, yeah.
That's.
Go
I
to-
mean, that's
go
not
to-
so much of a
No.
fork in the road, but it is a little bit.
Yeah.
It is very
It
different.
makes you a better street bike rider, though. Ride in the woods. Oh, hands down.
Does it?
Yeah.
Just don't try to ride a
You,
snowmobile.
yeah, exactly. No snowboarding.
A little bit of a different there. You want to talk about a V.
Totally
There's
different.
A V.
Yeah, totally
You
different.
hang in the V.
You turn that thing, you're not going where the steering wheel's facing
No.
at all.
No.
No.
He doesn't want to
And
get into it.
you don't want Paul Courts around you when you're hanging in a tree.
No. He is not what you would call a first aid person.
No, I told you.
Oh, you're fine. Get up. You just got that wind
Go
knocked back.
grab him out of the
So
tree.
I think what your podcast listeners need to know is the start to finish of that story, because that was a weekend to remember. So we opened this weekend by unpacking at the motel that we were staying in.
Let me start. Let's ask you a quick question. Was this had to do with business, or was
route.
this just pure pleasure of a bunch of guys going out?
It was our supply house taking us, three of us
Okay.
out for a thank you for your business trip.
Gotcha.
So the whole weekend was on the supply house. We pull into the place and we're unpacking to get ready the same day.
Yeah.
And my brother had a really great bottle of booze that a customer had given him. That
A little
was
closer to the
Yeah,
mic.
it's
homemade,
like
okay?
limoncello, homemade limoncello.
So he's like, we got to try this, but
But the
have
guy
to,
wants the bottle back.
I have to bring the
That
bottle.
was like my instructions.
I mean, it was literally all the way up there. We got to make sure we bring the bottle back. So, okay, we start unpacking. The bottle goes, hits the ground, and
my
explodes like a freaking grenade. And we're all looking like that wasn't the bottle, was it? We heard enough about the damn bottle all the way up. And it's like, shit, I don't know what I'm going to tell this guy now. I'm like, well, tell him you broke the bottle. What else you can't? I don't even know what the bottle looked like to tell you to go get another one.
Go get another, yeah.
So we unpack, we go to breakfast. I think I was the only one that had eggs, thankfully. But we get our snowmobiles, and my brother over here is the guy that's renting us the snowmobiles.
I'm like looking on the other side of the store. We're paying through everything. Well, Scott is paying for, here we go.
Yeah.
This is ordering this and everything. And I'm like on the way to the other side, like looking at like shirts or something.
Right.
And they start talking about the insurance. And I don't know why, but I yelled, and this isn't me.
It's like a reflex.
Yeah, I just turned around. Get the best insurance.
Get the best insurance.
And I don't agree with that. But
For some reason.
insurance.
Scott Adams looks like puzzled. He's like, all right, give me the best
Got the
insurance,
best
whatever.
$500.
Paul has this. Your uncle had this 3-person snowmobile because he's a big guy.
He's huge, yeah.
He needed like the biggest horsepower, and this he could have laid down on this thing and drove with his feet and still not reach the end of it. So we get these 3 monsters. Now I've never been snowmobiling before. I'm not sure about the rest of them.
One time.
So
mine was brand new.
yes,
Yeah?
it was
Yeah,
brand new.
like that year.
So we get out into the woods, and the first thing we do is out of sight of the owner and everything is we stop and we start drinking beers and little shots here and there. And I'm like, guys, I don't really feel too well. And it's like, what? And I go, I think I've got a fever. Like, we go ride for another hour. I stop. I am sweating bullets. I'm like, I'm sick. Like, I am dying.
From the eggs?
From the eggs. I had food poisoning. And every time we stop, I threw up a couple times. And I've actually
That is
I have
miserable.
pictures of it. So I think it was probably the second or third stop for beers that we did. And we go to take off, and my brother decides that we're going too slow.
Yeah.
So he whips around us. He goes into this bunch of S turns, and we come, straggling behind to see him stuck between a tree. The machine is sitting perfect, but there's it's a yard sale. There's like a speedometer here.
The machine is facing the wrong way.
Yeah, that's right. It was facing the wrong way, but it was at least on its skis.
It's like a yard sale. That's so funny.
He's
Total yard
he's
sale.
moaning and he's stuck in the crotch of these trees.
I am
and
the scarecrow. I'm like this.
I'm like,
Oh yeah,
my god!
That's what Paul says. Is all he saw was 2 little legs sticking out of the tree.
And
Not
he
moving.
runs over. Now, you're not supposed to move somebody. And it was her.
Yeah.
He's like, oh yeah, just pick some. Oh, you just had the wind knocked out of him. He drags him out. I'm like, whoa, man! He could have spinal injuries.
I'm hanging in this tree going. He comes over, he grabs me, and I'm like, don't move me.
Oh god! He pulls him out of the tree literally because
Well, hold
Paul
on a
doesn't
second.
listen.
Wait a second. The first thing I remembered from hearing through here, I hear everybody come up laughing.
Yeah,
You guys
we
are
actually
laughing.
thought-
They're like,
we thought he staged it.
they thought I staged it. They
We
thought
didn't hear any-
She was
we didn't
coming
hear
the other
any
way,
bang.
and I'm like, and they're like, look at this guy. They're crazy.
He was still moving.
Oh
Oh my god!
I thank God caught the tree. There was a road right on the other side that I couldn't.
Was
do.
there really?
Yeah. Oh,
Holy
totally. Yeah.
smokes.
Yellow lines. There was people flying.
So
But
after-
that's what the boys do though. When one of them gets injured, you laugh first.
Yeah.
First, yeah. Well, we saw his feet were moving, so he wasn't dead.
Yeah.
So, and then Paul yanked him out of the trees. Paul gave mouth to mouth, and everything was fine.
Scott's like,
I was not.
I'm breathing just fine.
I was not aware of that.
After that, Scott jumped up. He was like, all right, I'm back.
So we kept riding at that point, and I went from the first to the last. And I got my brand new thing, and I'm steering like
He's constantly like he's going right. We put the pieces in the basket on the back of Paul's
We're missing the
machine.
the windshield was in the back. It was just
my
like
gosh.
the speedometer was about
terrible.
20 yards down. We got everything decided. I'm like, all right, I'm not giving up. We're gonna do this. I can do this. Riding through this, him. So what do you do then? You go to the first bar.
First bar, we had lunch. My food poisoning was cured there. This lovely bartender.
Nice.
I wish I knew her name. She gave me all kinds of medicine.
She saved
She
your
was
life.
amazing. Yes. And then
That girl saved your life tonight.
No. Scott nearly broke a rib because where he hit the tree, his steel flask was stove in so it was it would definitely have broken his rib. And as it was, he had a Brocken blue that was square on his ribs for
That
days.
hematoma.
Subdural even.
So the song was the Elton John song.
That was the theme of the weekend.
You guys-
My
right, you guys do
flesh
it.
saved my life tonight. Sugar bad.
See, but that story will be around forever.
Oh God, yeah. No, and then it got better because after lunch we all decided to drive on this lake that we didn't know really where we were, and we just stopped in the middle of the lake for a beer. And these people come out of nowhere and they're screaming at us, "No, the lake's thin. You can't be out here with all that weight."
Holy smokes.
Like we're
Five was so close.
four machine. Yeah, what do you know, Mr. Lightfoot over here? Like what's he 340?
And a 3-man snowmobile.
It was awful. Like oh my God, I don't know how we didn't all
I
die
don't know.
that weekend.
And
That
then
was
we
incredible.
returned to snowmobiles, and they did not like us.
The
You got the
gentleman
best
was very
insurance.
Angry.
got
He
the
goes, "Which one of you guys had the snowmobile upside down?" And he goes, "Technically, sir, it wasn't upside down." He goes, "Yes, this was upside down." He goes, "No, it was at a 90-degree angle when it hit the tree. It never was upside down."
He did not.
Those
think
things
that
are
was-
treacherous.
He didn't think it was funny.
No.
It's not like riding a quad.
No,
it's
and
not
that's
like
what I'm used
riding
to
a motorcycle.
riding, you know?
Me and him went out. We went out took a Utah trip with a bunch of boys, and we did snowmobiling. First time we ever did it.
Yeah.
And the ridge was gorgeous.
Same thing
first
happened
of
to
all.
me that happened to you, but I didn't crash I didn't get the insurance.
What do you
I was the only one who opted out for the insurance, and I crashed.
Yeah.
I went into a tree, but luckily no damage to
They don't turn.
They don't turn.
They do not turn. And now
I
you see.
need to say a disclaimer because a friend of mine's going to be watching this, and he's taking me snowmobiling with his machine in February. Jason, I don't do the stuff like that. I'm very sensitive.
I'll be very nice to your snowmobile.
Don't feed him eggs.
Exactly. No, not me. Nobody flipped it. I swear.
Yeah. Nothing happened. We weren't even riding snowmobiles. I don't know what you're talking
But
about.
if you look, we got the best insurance.
Just for that. Talk to the insurance agent.
That's on them.
Oh my gosh. See, that's so funny though, and that's the stuff you'll remember forever.
Oh, sure.
You know, we've done. We try to do something with the company, like
Yeah.
his brother, my brother, me and him. We took an RV trip, stuff like that. We've did for Christmas because we're not a big company. Like, you know what, for Christmas we'll do, instead of having a party, there's no point. We'll just go somewhere for the weekend. So we'll bring some other people, and that stuff's important.
Sure.
Yep.
You know.
Oh, the bonding is
Exactly.
incredible.
You
Yeah.
got memories like him leaving a hotel room in his underwear at 2 a.m, going wandering around sleepwalking.
Oh my god.
Scott, you sleepwalk?
And he
I
watched
didn't
them
know
leave.
You didn't know you slept
Oh, I
walk?
haven't slept since I was a kid.
Yeah. And Paul's like, I wondered why you
apparently
walked out in your
This guy
underwear.
watched me. He watched me walk out.
Are you serious?
First night we were there. All right. Really?
No, Okemo.
Okemo.
That was after you broke the chair.
Yeah, he breaks the chair. First night we were there, we get there, and I don't know. Well, we had to sleep out on the couch. You broke the chair, and I got up.
That's right.
And
Scott
I
and I
walked
got
out.
first dibs on the bed.
Yes, other Scott.
Yeah.
I walked out, and he watched me get up and argue with the drapes,
Because that's rational.
then turn around and walk out the door. So what does Paul do?
He goes back to sleep.
I don't know.
He's a
Where the
grown
hell
man.
went?
You're
Where the
not
hell
supposed
did
to
he
wake
go?
a sleepwalker. That's why.
So I get out.
He's a grown man, he'll figure it out.
I walked 3 flights down.
3 floors, yeah.
Yeah.
Banging
and
on
then woke
somebody
up.
else's door.
I woke up, went, holy shit. where the hell am
Holy
I?
cow.
Yeah, and then had to remember where I was. And I'm like, I figured out, I don't know how long
We've
later.
only been in the room in a couple hours.
Couple
like
hours. Knocked on the door.
a little bit of alcohol involved.
And he He o-
The worst is the next morning. Paul's like, "Yeah, I saw you leave. I didn't know what the hell you were going."
What the hell are you going?
And you didn't?
You argued with Drake.
I figured you had a plan.
I'm like, and you don't think you should come get me?
Like, all right, if he's leaving dressed, that's one thing. But he's in his underwear, dude. What the hell? Where's he going?
Thank God.
Oh man.
Yeah. You know?
So you both have kids.
Yes.
You got kids. You have
and after that
daughters.
story, I'm so
and you
proud
have,
of telling them.
and you, exactly. So well now it's official.
Yeah, they've heard it. They know I'm off the wall.
You have a daughter
And a son.
and a son.
Yeah.
What does your son do?
Plumbing.
Does he do plumbing? I was gonna ask.
Yeah.
Like,
He
are
works
you
for us.
okay? Oh, he does.
Yeah.
yeah. He's
When
good.
did he start?
Let's see. He's 26. He went to college in West Virginia for a year, worked for a year, took a year off, and he's been back pretty much since.
Do you
So,
bust his chops a little extra?
yeah,
bit,
but he's
yeah.
got thin
You know what,
skin, so I gotta,
He's one of the guys who gives it the most, if not.
Really?
Yeah. No, he's good.
Okay,
He's very
Yeah.
good.
So he deflects the giving it to him
I gotcha.
because he does what he's supposed to do.
Because when I
And then
started,
some. Yeah, he's
when I worked for you guys, immediately you came after me.
Well, it's you.
And I'm like, well, yeah,
you're like
You know,
family,
it's you and it's him.
yeah.
And I'm sorry.
You can
I'm
tell
sorry.
I'm
I don't
very,
mind.
very sensitive around.
don't mind at all.
I'm sorry you
watch
have to be in the
exactly
middle
what
of
I
that,
say.
that
That's fine.
trifecta going on there.
He's getting used to it. So
Yeah.
I brought
Everywhere I
him.
go.
He's been around the family.
Yeah.
We had we went down to Kentucky. My family the cousins did like a recent family reunion. He came down because we did a show from Ohio. So I'm like, why
Is
don't
that
you just
number
total
one or
along?
two?
Huh?
You did a podcast from there?
Yeah.
What number?
This was 6 maybe.
7,
No
I think it
God
was.
Made a Farmer episode where we interviewed 90-year-old farmers.
Oh my God,
Still farming.
Still farming.
that's awesome.
Yeah. They're amazing.
He's on a tractor. She is.
He's got
baling
hands like
hay.
Mickey Mouse. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
just hands that wrap around your
Huge.
hand.
Really?
Huge.
You know?
Not a
and
big
he's
guy.
shorter than
Yeah.
me.
Oh yeah, but
Shorter than me,
just
but hands
mitts.
that just
total
Just
mitts.
like he comes in to
Yeah,
shake your hand.
yeah.
It's like, holy cow,
Fingers
this is a
around your
working.
elbow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was really interesting. So we were actually supposed to interview an Amish guy, but he bailed on the last minute because his church was kind of going through something. He's like, I don't want to get word. I'm like, where are they going to watch this anyway? You know what I mean?
They don't have
But anyway, I was like, all right, fine, we'll figure something out. But the farmers,
Do batteries count?
they do now.
They're all
You know they
driving.
do that. The Amish have solar power.
They're
now.
gonna have electric cars. If
So
you-
they have-
ride the
they
electric
have-
bikes.
They
Oh,
have
wow, so
yeah.
now they can. Yeah.
They have iPods. They have
Wow.
rollerblades. I mean, my family grew up. I've always known Ohio. I've been going back to because that's where my mom's side is from. I remember the Amish growing up. They were always very reserved. In the last 10 to 15 years, because of solar power, it's really changed a lot.
Bringing them in, huh?
It's bringing them.
Wow.
They have electricity now.
Rumspringer.
Yeah.
That's got a whole new meaning.
The guy that I was supposed to interview for his Rumspringer, you know what he did? For 2 years, he followed Johnny Cash around the country.
Wow, that's admirable.
I know.
that guy's
And
got
he
some
loves
stories,
Johnny
I bet.
Cash.
Holy smokes.
But for his Rumspringer, he followed Johnny Cash all across the country with a couple of his Amish buddies who did Rumspringer together. This guy's awesome.
I bet
He's
you
met
there's
him.
some stories, yeah.
He's really cool.
Yeah.
Really nice guy. His wife is awesome. And they're so friendly.
Right.
They'll they bring you into their home, they'll talk to you. But unfortunately, and I would have loved to get them on the show, but
Yeah.
at the last minute, he was like, my church
You're
is,
not
yeah.
over. You're going to go into.
Yeah, I mean, maybe
Men
we can,
more. You gotta
maybe
go
we
back
can-
down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will do
It's
that.
only beginning.
But I brought him after
off.
that. We went down to Kentucky, and I had a little cousins reunion, and that was just a madhouse.
Yeah.
I
If
mean,
you can't,
he got a taste.
yeah. If
of the
it's
Courts
like
family.
this, if you're not on your toes with this with the Courts family, then
So
what you're
they're
saying
gonna
is
eat you alive.
Phil
And-
and Paul are the
you
only
guys
ones
are
with
from
teeth.
Kentucky, area?
They came up from Alabama.
Okay.
My
Makes a
brother
lot
came
of
down
sense.
from
Makes a lot of sense.
It's hard.
Yeah.
I'm putting the pieces
Clears up
together
a whole
now.
bunch of things.
I'm telling you.
what, Alabama?
Yeah, Alabama, the whole,
whole
area where
history
you're coming
here,
from. Yeah.
Oh, we busted their
Thought there was
we busted
inbreeding
their
going on.
Are you just saying that because my eyes don't face the same way? They move like chameleon eyes.
First thing we had to reiterate to them is that we won. So
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but we did a stupid little.
I don't care how you do it up north.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to bring. So Paul's son is 14, right?
Yes, 15.
And my cousin's son is 15, and I want to bring them up. I want to get Nikki to work. I'll put Nikki in a truck with Max. I want to take Mason and
Yeah, I
start
think
bringing
you
up
should
the
get
next
into it.
generation.
Yeah.
There you go.
which would be awesome.
and see how long they let. Just do a summer. See if they want to
Listen,
come back.
the way they're programmed, 100% they're
Yeah,
plumbers.
that's
They're
cool.
plumbers
That's cool.
already.
It's into the
Hardworking.
Yeah,
Yep. Polite.
they are. Nikki's very polite.
You know what? That's
Mason's
you need.
very
You need
polite.
both of those. I'm sorry. You need crackless,
day. Oh yeah. No.
crackless, polite, hardworking. people.
Crackless, like doesn't smoke crack.
No, like
Oh.
not showing crack.
Oh,
Yeah. we are crackless.
Okay, so you
I
felt-
thought that meant
We are
like a hard
crackless-
skin, like a
no.
hard shell that you
we
can't.
are crackless
Although-
plumbing and heating. That is-
We have taken
that's our-
credit for making butt cleavage
Yes.
popular.
Yeah, that's it. We are anti that. You need a belt. You need pants that fit. We
Yeah.
are crackless plumbing.
that's
and heating.
good. So I
Yeah.
mean, that's
Yep.
so were we.
Yep.
We
Yeah.
always have a belt
That's
on.
it.
On with that
You
butt
know,
crack
we
hanging out.
fight
at all.
that freaking.
I wanted to double
stereotype.
up and wear suspenders too. I was like, just so.
That's a different world.
He wants to
man.
go with
Most plumbers
suspenders.
around 35 get that belly, and it's their hips kind of
Yeah.
disappear.
Yep.
Yeah, but I want to move it up to the next
I got one,
generation.
Paul. Mister, I can't open a bottle over there. How long you been out of the field, man? Can you put a water heater in still?
Still, has he ever been able to?
Oh,
I'm
nice.
going back. I'm going back with. It stopped.
No, it's black and white.
Oh yeah, that's fine. It goes on a sleep mode. It kind of saves some energy. No, I still go to jobs where Paul's water heaters are still in there. I replaced the boiler. I think he was on the
Straighten
job
everything
where my
out.
grandfather put the boiler in originally.
A couple of them. I still
Yeah.
see his
Pipe 'em
stickers
right,
on the
make sure
boilers.
safety is done right.
Yeah, but now we put them in right.
Yeah,
But I tell people,
that's what it should be.
like, oh, your uncle came in here and put this in. I was like, what's wrong with it? Because we fired the guy.
Yeah. That's why he's not here.
He's no
What
longer
happened?
with us.
We don't even let him answer
Yeah,
the
we got
phones
rid
anymore.
of him. But no,
The warranty is expired. Okay, leave us alone.
so, what's the plan going forward with Wick? Like short term, long term. Well, how many guys do you have right now?
We're down. We're down because we wanted to keep the quality.
You
back.
want to keep
we
it
had
down.
to bring the
Are
quality.
you guys
back
in
down.
maintenance mode? Like maintain this?
Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Like, are you guys in? You're trying to maintain a certain number and a certain quality because before you said we grew. In the beginning, when you guys took over, you
Yeah.
just wanted to grow. It was 6 months and you grew and grew and grew. And
Yeah,
eventually, you hit 28 and you realized, oh, this is too much. So you scaled it back to something more manageable. And
We're trying to really work on the quality end of it and just be like,
Well,
all right,
let's be honest. The business isn't the same in the last 4 years. So we had 18 employees coming into COVID. All right, a lot of them were in their 60s. So when the smoke cleared, we're 12.
Gotcha.
A lot left, and some just younger guys, some Spanish guys never came back. We don't know where they went, but we lost a lot of guys to not death, but to COVID itself. Like,
Yeah.
they just decided
wanted to get out.
I'm not-
changing careers.
yeah.
It was crazy,
So-
and the communication just was gone.
And the workload has been kind of hit or miss since then. Like it's been at times difficult to keep 12 guys busy. Like this summer was really up and down. Like,
Oh yeah.
it was we're not sure about parts anymore. There's a back order.
That's huge.
Back
Yeah.
order on inventory is like across the board. Doesn't matter.
And customers don't understand that
No, they
at
haven't
all.
got it yet. No.
I'm hearing crazy stuff from that. You can't buy blue paint to make the green ground wires in boilers. You can't find insulation for boilers. Like they have all the parts, but they don't have insulation.
Yeah.
22-week wait for hot water makers for apartment houses.
Jeez.
18 weeks on sections for commercial steam boiler sections. It's all over. And now a lot of these companies have been bought up and said, you know what, whether COVID took them out or the climate with the oil crisis or whatever they're doing, the war
Yeah.
on oil. Like HB Smith isn't making boilers anymore. US Boilers is buying up all these little like Crown boiler, Velocity boiler,
Oh, they
Utica. Yeah, if you look, if all the Force boilers coming out of Ferguson are made by US Boilers. And,
Oh.
like it's.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I thought Crown was still making them.
No.
Not for
Look,
how long?
since like a year. Like it's hard to get I'm selling brand name to a customer. I tell the branch manager I want a Crown boiler and
Yeah.
103,000 BTUs, and it says Force
says
on the
Force
jet.
on it.
And I go, why? I wanted a Crown. Well, Crown makes it because Crown was bought by US Boilers, and here, look, they make Utica,
Yeah.
this and that.
Yeah.
He's like, you want stickers? I can put stickers on. Like
I could cover it up with
what it's
something.
become. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I mean, we've been feeling the brunt of it. I remember 3 months into COVID, supply chains, boom, completely tarnished and destroyed. I don't think a lot of our customers are taking that stuff seriously yet, and we're the ones feeling it.
Well, they had a lot of inventory. I through COVID, so I didn't see, other than like high demand items like the sensor faucets.
Yeah.
Couldn't get them through COVID at all.
Well, I couldn't get a
But-
peerless boiler.
Well, again, that took a little while to weed out. Like it wasn't immediate. I believe that we were back to work 3 or 4 months after the big shutdown.
We never really had that big of a slowdown. It was
No, us.
Well, we were
not us
down.
either.
We had 2 employees. I was on unemployment. Sarah was on unemployment. You were the only one in the office on the books.
Oh, that's right.
And
Oh,
the
wow.
only employees we had was Joe, Kyle, and Alex.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
yeah.
My perception of it was different because I was doing estimates the entire
Well,
time.
when
So I
Murphy
never-
Murphy said you can do
Once we can
schoolwork,
open up schoolwork, that's opened it
that's
up.
when you
Oh,
started
okay.
hammering
Yeah,
down.
and
and we reopened in
Yeah.
3 months under that.
Yeah.
Well, reopened. We were still working.
We
Gotcha.
saw it, yeah.
Whoever would let us in their house, we would, with those
Right.
3 guys would do
COVID
work.
transformed a lot.
Yeah.
Sarah would come in one day a week and do like 10 invoices and payroll, and that's and I'd sat at the desk on unemployment and answered the phone every day.
Yeah.
But you had to reinvent the wheel just to
Right.
stay open.
I
you
know.
And we kept the crews staggered times, so nobody got contaminated. One crew came in, the same 2 guys, 7
I see,
o'clock.
yeah.
The same 2 guys at 7:30, and another 2 guys at 8 o'clock.
How long did that last?
Until the CDC said that it wasn't a 14-day wait if you were exposed anymore.
Oh.
Because again, I got to follow the CDC rules,
Yeah.
which we all
can't-
knew
we
were
couldn't have
BS.
the same people in the backyard at all. It was and trying to shift them through. And the guy's like, "Oh, I want to come in a little early." I'm
One
like,
guy
"No."
comes down with COVID. What am I going to do? Close?
Right.
Wipe every
out?
one
Yeah.
of them?
No, we lost the crew.
Yeah.
And we kept working.
All right. Well,
I got you.
You rode in the truck
know?
with him, so we kept.
That's actually a smart way to do it.
We tried.
We tried.
I mean,
Not
if I
just
was
another pretty
your
face.
size, we
Yeah.
would have. I wouldn't have figured that one out.
No,
We would have all had COVID all the time.
Well, I'm being told now that you can't get COVID if you don't test for it.
That's it.
Well, that's always been true.
You know how you avoid COVID?
Exactly. Just pretend it doesn't exist.
Yeah, so you
The
don't-
biggest
you don't
thing is
test
to
for
take
it.
your TV and throw it in the dumpster.
Do you know how you get your name on a list in Hackensack for being kind of like questionable?
What?
You have 2 business owners who are brothers apply for a pistol permit at the same
At the same time.
Yes, and have your friend who has to apply for sign off for it
Process it.
go. Are you guys having a problem?
They're about to duel. They're about to duel.
We had to go
What's
down.
going on over there?
We had to go down and pick up our permits at the same time.
Idle minds are the devil's playground because we're sitting here looking at each other doing nothing. Like, hey, we can
goes,
fill
"You-
this out online.
He's like, "You 2 guys getting along?" He's like, "You got a lot of time together."
I can't look at his face anymore when I
No,
come
I'm
into
like,
the
you know what?
office.
Take
3
target
steps,
practice.
3 paces, turn and shoot.
The Nerf gun
Well, you've
wasn't
been-
satisfying enough.
You've been working out of Hackins. You probably know all the cops.
Oh,
all the-
that was our boy.
Yeah.
That was our friend of
but
ours
not-
in there. Yeah,
Now it's a whole new generation
yeah. No, back
coming
it
up.
was
you
one
know.
of the last guys retiring. So
So you don't have to answer this, but we'll wrap it up with this one question. Thoughts for the future for the company. I know we started to talk about that, but would you guys probably just run it out and pass it to the next generation, or would you think of selling the whole thing and getting out completely?
you know what? I'll go either way.
Yeah.
Yeah, either way. We'll see
If
what
the
happens.
generation wanted it,
Yeah.
there might be some interest. Right now, there's
But
not.
can I tell the funniest story that I've ever had out of all the years that we've been dealing with this?
Sure.
All right, I'm sorry, and you could edit this because it may not be as funny, but I think it's hysterical. All right.
This is gonna be good.
Funniest story that I ever had, and I know you've known this. And I was on a sewers call with my father way back. I was a young kid, and it was nighttime sewer call. We come out, and this guy was a pain
Nice.
in the ass. okay?
Nicely done.
I caught
Nicely
it.
done.
Pain in the ass. All right, and he's complaining. We show up there. It had to be like 10, 11 o'clock at night. We come through. We pull the toilet out. He's going, I don't understand. He goes, this house, you guys were here. You guys were here a month and a half ago, and it's clogged again. So we come through with our sewer cables, doing it the whole thing. We pull out the sewer cables. We can't get this line. Go back in, back out, back in. We finally pull out, and we're going to change the head. And we have green grass cuts, like, it's green
Uh-huh.
on the end of our sewer cable. And we're like, my father and I looking at each other, and I'm like, I'm young. I'm going,
I don't know
What
where
do you
that's
think?
coming from.
I don't know. Green. It's green. How the hell do you get this? So
Go outside and look. I can picture him. Get the flashlight and look outside. See where it's coming up.
we're there till 1 o'clock in the morning. Okay.
On a
1
sewer
o'clock,
clog?
on a sewer clog. Okay. I'm looking over neighbors' fences. I'm looking for where our wire came out through a sewer crack.
Right.
Up, and we got to be laying in somebody's grass, ripping it across. Like nothing. I don't understand. We pull back out, but I can't find anything. The guy finally comes down in his boxers, and he's like, "You think my grass clippings clogged this up?"
Oh,
The guy was dumping his grass
From his
clippings
lawnmower.
from his lawnmower, flushing them down the toilet.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Are you kidding?
I'm not kidding.
You didn't think to tell us that. up front.
Yes, you didn't say it from the start. We were there from like 10:30 till 1:30
I would
in
charge
the
him
morning.
every
you don't
little
think we
bit.
did that.
Dramatically.
But that was like, we drove home, the two of us in our car, in the truck going, do you believe that just happened? Do you believe that is the stupidest individual I've ever met in my entire life?
That is unbelievable. I would be livid
Yes.
for years.
Yes.
I would be
That's
so
why
angry.
when you asked us to come here, I'm like,
He was
you know what?
17 when
That's
that happened. He's still
number
talking
one
about it.
story that I'm like, all right,
You
what
don't
do
forget.
we talk about? That is what I got to talk about.
Oh, my
Grass
gosh.
clippings down a basement toilet.
We pulled out a toilet.
I pulled out a chicken carcass one time, and I had to call him and tell
the
him,
maid,
listen, the maid kept
was eating
throwing,
chicken wings over the toilet.
Yeah, and she would
for like
throw
weeks.
everything in the
And she
in
would
the
just
toilet.
shove it down.
Oh no!
And I
Yeah.
pulled it out. I
whole
pulled out. I was there twice within same thing, like within a month.
Yeah.
And each time it was chicken bones, and she didn't speak English. She didn't
There was
understand.
nothing
And I
you
was
can
like,
do.
you can't put food
not
down
what you're
here.
Like
allowed
no
to do.
bueno,
No.
no bueno. Like what are you supposed to do?
I've had women dump potatoes, like whole potatoes from stew. Like,
Why?
yeah, well,
It's
I thought it-
What do they think?
It's a big
What do they
hole.
think magic happens
Yeah.
down here?
We had a lady that was putting batteries in her garbage disposal.
Oh my God! Yes!
Yeah,
Oh my
she-
God!
I mean,
That's
literally, we
terrible.
redid her kitchen, and,
Yes.
and I won't
The
tell her
whole-
name, but her husband was on TV for a
I
long
think that's
time.
worse than
so
that.
The whole bottom fell off the garbage
It was
disposal.
blowing up the motor, and I mean, a month you change it out on warranty. A month later, it goes again, and I'm like, "Lady, what are you putting down here? Like, you're not." She's like, "Oh, I put batteries, this, bones." I go, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! You can't do that." She's like, it's a garbage
garbage.
disposal."
No way.
And I'm like, "Oh my God!"
Yes.
I go, "Here, it's a food waste grinder, you nitwit."
Yes.
What a dope! And they'll talk back to you with
Oh
confidence.
hell
Yes.
yeah! Like it's
Yeah.
garbage disposal.
Yeah. Well,
it
he-
says it on the label.
He always told me, don't trust what the customer says.
Yeah.
Like if you
Yeah.
go there, just don't trust what the customer
yeah,
says.
You're a detective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they say that it's been fine, nothing's
Yeah.
there's no problem. Like I just throw regular stuff down here. No, you're not.
Yeah.
I
So
see
clearly-
Energizer battery bunny shavings. in here.
Regular to
Pulling the
them.
tea bag
They're
strings out of
not
the
lying
garage
to you.
ears,
They
you know.
may not be lying to you.
Yeah.
Okay. But what they think is regular is not
Right,
what
right,
we
right,
know
right.
is regular.
Good
So
stuff,
clearly,
man.
you're going to try to sell the business.
Hey, listen.
If you have to
Anybody
deal
out
with
there?
one more
Couple
grass
million,
clipping
come
sewer
on.
line.
I'm out tomorrow.
Us too.
See ya.
Oh my God.
Listen, guys, we've been talking for a long time.
Yeah, it was
This has
fun.
been a lot of fun.
A lot of fun.
But
Yep.
let's wrap it up.
Yep.
And
All
we're gonna
good.
get Scott on for another episode.
Yeah,
We're
I
not
got
gonna
some
disclose
stuff.
it now, but Scott's got some
Yeah.
stuff to
I
bring
got some
on.
stuff going on. We'll talk.
And Rob,
in the
you're
future.
welcome on anytime. Tell stories and as the
Appreciate
little
you
brother.
having us, Phil.
No, it was a lot of fun. I'm
Thank
glad
you.
you
Yeah,
guys
It
came.
was a
Good.
good time.
Luck with you, man.
It was
with
all
this.
fun and games till
Yeah.
Paul showed up.
Folks, Scott and Rob Wickersheim from Wickersheim and Sons Plumbing in Hackensack, New Jersey. Go check them out online. What's the website? Wickersheim.
WickandSons.com, and there's also, Quartz Plumbing is fantastic. They'll take care of you too.
You don't have to do that.
Well, no.
He's got 14
You know what?
episodes.
Assist this company. if they can't get to you, they're going to call us.
Exactly.
It's all
Night
good.
or day, we're there.
We want to shout out the
If
phone
you
number.
throw grass clippings in your
201.
sewer line, we're giving you to Wickersheim. That's it.
201-343-4157.
Awesome.
All right.
And we've been working together for a long time, and I hope that continues.
It's all good. Good
But
relationship.
folks, thanks for tuning in to Plum Bums. We appreciate it. Like, share, subscribe, share this, get the name out there. There's a lot of good content coming out. We have a lot of good guests coming up. So share with your friends, post it to Facebook, everything. We appreciate you listening, and we'll see you next week.